It has been a while since I loved the show before watching a single episode. But I knew, the moment I laid my eyes on the first second of the first trailer, that this was it. Never have I been more sure about anything in my life. Elbow blades and chipped heads, capitalist dystopia and neon lights, crime and dysfunction, teeth-grinding action and gratuitous violence. This show has capital S style. The chases are bombastic, the action is relentless, the story moves at a breakneck pace, the characters develop each and every episode, the relations develop with every scene, the characters die like cyber tech flies. There's simply no fat in the scenes, no downtime, no boring bits. You will need to be on high alert the entire time. The episodes are all of 20 minutes each. Every moment, every second is capital U utilitarian. Leave dinner for later. Make sure your family is not home. No bathroom breaks, no interruptions. Take your clothes off, free your mind, and then and only then you should watch. I have been a huge fan of this genre from an early age. My first exposure was Blade Runner. No, not that one. Yes, this one. I could not imagine what they showed me.
What the fuck did I just see?
Movies like Blade Runner and Alien opened my mind to worlds of horror and wonder. It opened my mind to what humans could achieve in the future. And in a lot of ways, these movies changed my world forever. Changed me forever. Since then, I would seek out media which will stir me as they did. And I found one of the most important moments of the show isn't really in any episode, but the starting credits themselves. The credits have this wild energy. As clips from the show flip through one another in bright neon, all characters contained within the silhouette of David Martinez, our main protagonist. As he moves towards the screen with a menacing look from his single open eye, we can see his journey within and around him. He mutates into different characters as he breaks apart cleanly into pieces, signifying the transformation he will go through, how each part of his body would slowly be taken away from him, replaced by cybernetics. As the cohesion between his body parts gives way, he falls shapelessly as the song reaches its crescendo and repeats, "I will burn it." As he's shot between the eyes, a figure towering over his decapitated head, the only part of himself he had left, now destroyed by this faceless villain. The most important story element is the relation of humans to technology. It gives them abilities which they simply cannot achieve. Unbreakable carapace, claws, firearms, and so many unique weapons. A communication network using thoughts alone, legs to leap impossible heights, bodies that do not tire, all at the cost of your humanity. As you enhance your body with cyberware, you need high doses of medication to avoid the side effects. But there is a limit to it. Every time you use it, you weaken your body. Nosebleeds, lethargy, and physical pain seem to be common symptoms. But more importantly, too much cyberware can break your mind, and in some extreme cases, turn you into a cyber psycho. A person so enhanced by cyberware, they have completely lost control of themselves, becoming an animal without empathy or self-control. The show begins with a brief introduction to the most important character in the story, the Night City. You go through a relatively slow day as you get introduced to some of the most unfortunate inhabitants. A boy and his mother struggling financially as they grind through life. But the city doesn't allow it. No good deed is left unpunished. It is mundane, as it can be in a cyberpunk dystopia, but mundanity is relative to place and time. Perhaps through a need to compete to survive, the inhabitants are left selfish and cruel, each one protecting their social status through violence and psychological manipulation. Each one only looking out for themselves, lost in petty pleasures and short-term gain. The only inhabitants with real power far too aware of this, and yet they do nothing about it. In fact, benefiting from the sales of weapons, drugs and cyberware. No matter what we are looking at, the looming dysfunction of Night City is at full display. From the facade of the tallest skyscrapers to the neon advertisements filling each and every frame, to the dark alleys full of drugs, gang violence and misery of every kind. The environment is so thick you can see the characters suffocating from it, growing numb to everything the city throws at them. Because of the prevalence of weapons and cyberware, the people of Night City feel pushed to enhance themselves. And similar to the world of Deus Ex, Mankind Divided, there's a lower class of people who are either not sufficiently enhanced or the enhancements are of such low quality they are more susceptible to cyber psychosis. All the while, the corporate heads are doing everything they can to maximize profits, and people doing everything they can to survive. David Martinez is a boy trapped between fantasy and reality, a fan of brutal virtual experiences. His family's financial situation is like a landslide. His mother wants him to open his eyes and go to school, looking forward to his son's future, where he climbs a financial ladder and reaches up to the sky. But he's just a poor boy from a poor family who asks for no sympathies. He's willing to cut corners to help his mother through highs and lows. But she does not believe he's concentrating on becoming what he can. Simply goes where the wind blows. Until one day, he comes home and tells his mama he just killed a man. Whoa, wait, ignore that last bit. But this is David's reality. A reality where he feels unable to help his mother, unable to see his future. Abused and rejected by his classmates as well as society. And to make it all worse, they're caught in the middle of a heist. In the aftermath, the rescue teams do not even bother helping him or his mother. She passes away in a rundown hospital with an apathetic doctor who tells him he's too poor to have the privilege of visitation and hands him a tablet giving him options of burial or cremation, trying to sell an orphan the funeral services for his mother. This is the reality of David Martinez, who in his desperation enhances himself with an unknown implant, thus beginning his journey as an Edgerunner. Edgerunners skirt at the edge of legality and sanity, and most of the things they do are technically legal but highly questionable, along with some things which are outright illegal. They steal, abduct, and even kill for paid contracts, presumably only bad guys. A crucial role in the team is the Netrunner, who has a cybernetically augmented interface system implanted into their body. In other words, they can go into a computer network as a superhero and fight pseudo-scientific security systems while trying to steal data, which in this case is a vase. And one of the Netrunners in this team is Lucy. She is a young Netrunner and a student of Kiwi. And Kiwi is a quiet, stoic figure. Until she isn't. And Lucy is, well, complicated. Lucy was a trained weapon for a corporation looking into the old internet, which went down over 50 years ago. Lucy and her comrades were trained to be Netrunners from an early age in a grim-looking facility which they eventually broke out from. The children were raised and trained to be super hackers who would scour the old internet for information beneficial to their abductors/employers. Many children are killed in the attempts, and as their numbers dwindled, they knew what they had to do: remain in a familiar place and eventually die, or run, killing most of the guards and breaching the security systems with the skills taught to them by the company itself. Lucy and her peers leave the facility under a barrage of gunfire. She is the only survivor, and the guilt eats away at her sanity. Okay, so if you want your internet psychic kids to go crazy, kill everyone, and break out of the facility you made to contain them, get this designer's number. I mean, look at this. Hard as nails grown-ups will go insane working in this Event Horizon looking place.
Where we're going, we won't need eyes to see.
Okay, back to the video. In this world full of cynics, there exists a man caught in the hero myth. His romantic partner Dorio is a brick of a woman, the rock for the team. Together, they have created this group of Edgerunners: Rebecca and Pilar, Lucy and Kiwi, and eventually David. Main, the leader, is an ex-soldier who wants to make it big in Night City. But as we see from his actions, he is less interested in personal goals and more invested in his crew. In a world which uses up children and spits them out, he is a man who takes in youngsters and nurtures them. A man who overestimates his potential, overloading himself with implants, far beyond his capability to handle. He is a man torn between his wants and reality. In a bid to serve his crew, he ends up destroying them and himself. And now we talk about the best girl in the show, Rebecca. She is rad as hell. A loyal badass, never afraid to jump into action. A bit of a hothead, but I think I can change her. She seems to have feelings for David, but never admits it. She's quirky and funny, energetic and brave, and even though it isn't often, she shows the most humanity. A person who gives rather than takes. And so we come to Pilar. This man is a vile scumbag. He gropes the women in his team every chance he gets. He is raunchy and disgusting, has no sense of personal space, which eventually gets him killed. His death is so sudden that it is easy to gloss over this bit of dialogue.
Miserable bitch! What's mine to kill? And you took that from me!
Does this look like a girl who has lost her beloved brother? If you have lost someone, you'd remember how you felt about the dead body. You felt protective. You wanted to guard them. It was hard for you to let the coroner take them away for autopsy. Now imagine what she should be feeling. Instead, she shoots him one final time and says, "He was mine to kill." A known sexual harasser and a deviant, living alone with a little girl. His sister, who might try to protect him anyway. Yeah, you can put two and two together. So, if you have seen the show, you know most of our cast does not make it. Our heroes lose, without even as little as a moral victory. The final boss completely dominates them. Not even their sacrifice helps. There's no last-minute bomb that explodes as the hero dies, taking the villain with him. No last-minute fall into a pit or reinforcements to help them. It is just loss. Death in Cyberpunk is abrupt. There are no long farewells, no reminiscing about the dead, no recalling who they were, no funerals, no mourning. There is no closure. Nothing will bring them back. Nothing will make this better. It is just a burst of violence and gone. All they were, all they could have been, taken away without warning. And their friends can't even rest for a day. They must move on. No matter what they lost, there's always the next day. Just as it is in real life. Most of the time, we cannot prepare for accidents or unknown medical conditions in our loved ones. To us, it is just something that happened one day and now nothing can make up for it. Death is cruel and unforeseeable, and that is why it is so tragic. One of the scariest things we can realize is that when we die, the universe does not blink. This world has devolved to such a degree that children are raised as if on a factory farm, trained for a single purpose and forced into activities with high fatality rates. A world which strips you of your humanity. This is the world which forces people to resort to crime. A world where the richest control everything and the poor get nothing. In a world full of marvels of technology, the most astonishing thing is how much control the rich truly have. Cyberware allows the poor and disenfranchised to fight back. In a strange twist, it is the same cyberware the rich are trying to sell to everyone that becomes the great equalizer. They can fight back. There's less gatekeeping of knowledge in a well-connected world. Anyone can learn to make cyberware by reverse engineering the existing one. They can modify it, make it better. All it'll cost them is their humanity, which they were deprived of anyway. At least they can die trying. At least they can voluntarily give it up for a cause. They can win. This show is about a man losing his mother and finding a newfound family, just to lose them again. It is a show about losing your body and mind to cyberware. A show about gaining power and fighting against tyrants. A show about unfulfilled promises and overestimated potential. A show about loss and how to recover from it. This show is about how life goes on, even after the most tragic of incidents, even after the hardest fought battles, even after we lose all semblance of humankind, even after we feel we have lost everything. We can give each other little pieces of happiness, some cherished joys, something to hold on to. After everything, we can still find humanity.
So what do you want?